stunning performance. Underdogs Baltimore Revo earned their way into the PSP Champions Division by defeating a highly favored Los Angeles Infamous in the Challengers Division semifinals at the last event. Though they lost to San Antonio X Factor in the finals, Revo will have a chance to battle in the FAR, and the franchise has a very bright future in front of them as a professional paintball team if they can just keep this talented crew together. It has been an up and down year for Houston Heat, a team who had high hopes coming into 2014. Their best performance was in Chicago, where Ryan Moorhead was on fire in the Snake and the team as a whole was back in top form. Though they did take second at that event's Impact, it looked like a team that could win a PSP tournament. But other than that second place performance, Houston Heat hasn't been able to put enough wins on the board in the prelims to threaten in the Champions Division, and spent a tournament in the Challengers Division after the slow start in Dallas at the beginning of the year. They were able to beat San Diego Dynasty at the last event in a relegation match, knocking the 2013 Series champs down into the Challengers Division. With the star-studded roster that Heat fields, they very well could elevate their game at the hardest event of the year. Sam Monville and Greg Sewers are the team's highest-ranked players. John Woodley and Chad George have proven themselves as high-level competitors, and the rest of the roster is stacked with veterans. But Heat needs more consistency, more players stepping up at the same time to have a chance to win here at the PSP World Cup.
Welcome to the most important day of the 2014 PSP World Cup. I'm Matty Marshall alongside Todd Martinez and Chris Lasoya. So, some of the most fascinating games to watch at any PSP tournament are the relegation games, and that is about what we're about to watch go down right now. Houston Heat, again, underperforming in the prelims, and they are forced to play another relegation game. That is their third relegation game they had to play this season, and they are going to take on Baltimore Revo. Revo, their first time up in the Champions Division, weren't able to get it done in the prelims, though. Big learning experience for them. They can maintain their spot in the Champions Division right now for 2015 if they can take down Houston Heat. Boys, what do you think about this game?
I think this is going to be a really good game. I mean, I'm not going to take anything away from Revo. It was their first chance to play against all these champions teams. You know, I thought they gave it a pretty valiant effort.
I'm a big fan now, man.
They gave everybody a run. You know, when we played them, it was a really good game. You know, Houston Heat, you know, they're a veteran, experienced team. So, I mean, this is going to be another tough test for Revo. But, you know, Houston Heat definitely got to be frustrated after the way that they played this event coming into World Cup with all the preparation they put in. And they get up early, shooting Henry Sense off the break for Revo coming out to the Snake side.
And the push coming up now on the D side of the field. Chad Boucher, Chad George, Greg Sewers, Thomas Taylor, and John Woodley getting the start here for Houston Heat. And it looks like another body drops early for Baltimore Revo. It's Stephen O'Mara, their attacker here on the Snake side. You're looking at the last couple players left alive, and here comes the attack. Thomas Taylor on the offense, coming down the Snake side, past the 50-yard line. And also on the D side, Chad George right behind Thomas Taylor. Bodies dropping off for Baltimore Revo.
Yeah, Houston Heat looking really good, nice and strong, taking advantage, getting down the Snake side real quick. Baltimore Revo trying to make something happen on the far side of the field, Todd, but here comes the power punch. John Woodley taking out the last player on Revo to take the first point.
That was a good, solid first point. Complete control for Houston Heat. Started it off by shooting a body and then executed the game plan. Got Thomas Taylor and Chad George in the Snake. And then the body started to drop for Baltimore Revo as the attack came up the D side for Houston Heat. They only lost one body. It was John Woodley. Got shot by Stacy Smith. So Baltimore Revo going to have to go back to the drawing board, going down one here in this race to 7 points in this relegation match. You know who stepped up for Revo yesterday was Sean Rill. You know, that's one of the cool things about having these guys come up into the Champions Division and watching them get a lot of reps out here as we start to figure out, you know, who are the attackers from each team, the most consistent players, and also the weapons. And I really was impressed by how Sean Rill played the game yesterday.
Nice. I didn't really get to see the names on the back of the jerseys so much as I do when I'm sitting up here, but I know that those guys, you know, when we played them in that vicious game, they were attacking us on all sides at all times. You know, had a decent little comeback attempt, you know, in that game yesterday. You know, started attacking the middle. They always had a consistent push down the Snake side in the games that we watched them. You know, really aggressive, and you know that's something that you really can't teach a team, is that, you know, just how to have that killer instinct and to really want to attack at all times. And you know, Revo definitely has that. You know, and I think that if they can get their way out of the Challengers Division, you know, or if they can maintain their spot, you know, or if they end up going to the Challengers Division to get back, you know, that they could be a really solid, consistent champions team.
I think they could too. It may take a little bit of time to kind of cultivate what they already have. But let's look at this game matchup here on your screen. So you have to give this one on paper. Houston Heat's been around for 3 years, and the players, when you look at the roster, I mean, that's a superstar roster. It's an all-star lineup, cherry-picked for their skills, and they train and play more paintball than almost pretty much any paintball team on earth. And Baltimore Revo. But I'll tell you what, man, if they can maintain their spot here, we're going to have to start moving those bars over to the right. And even regardless, just from what we've seen, especially on the attacking, they are really good at attacking. Not so great at finishing. They're getting a little bit better at finishing, and their defending is not bad. They're great gunfighters, but man, Stephen O'Mara and Sean Rill, those guys are some good ones, some good first attackers.
Yeah, they definitely remind me of 187 when 187 first came into the league. You know, just all-out attack all the time. 187 definitely a more polished team now that they've spent some time in the champions bracket, and I definitely think that 187 is on the cusp, although we're going to see them in the next game coming up against Moscow Red Legion.
Body dropping early for Baltimore Revo. 4 players left alive. That death comes on the D side of the field. Stephen O'Mara gets in the snake. Thomas Taylor gets another spin here for Houston Heat. So they went with Houston Heat with Chad George. Minor penalty on Houston Heat on the D side. They had also lost John Woodley, so that's going to peel 3 bodies. So now it's just Thomas Taylor and Chad George over here on the snake side of the field, but they have shot Sean Rill and Stacey Smith, so it's 3-on-2 right now in favor of Baltimore Revo.
Yeah, Thomas Taylor and Chad George in a bad spot right here, Todd. O'Mara's coming down the snake.
Yeah, all the bodies are over here on the snake side. Thomas Taylor going to try and make that move on O'Mara, but he's not going to get him. So O'Mara's going to now come down onto Houston Heat side of the field, sitting just past the 50. Just Chad George on the VIP side of the field.
Yeah, but now this penalty grinded down, Todd. 23 seconds left of the penalty. They might get a body back here if Chad George can. Never mind. My bad.
Yeah. Now, if Thomas Taylor might have just waited for just a little bit longer, I think he might have been able to come out and get into that big Dorito and then get Houston Heat back into this game. But I think Thomas Taylor jumped the gun just a little bit, tried to make that move a little too early because all the bodies for Revo were over here on the snake side. There was nobody on the Dorito side. They would have had to come through Thomas Taylor's gun and Chad George's gun to try and get somebody, or Thomas Taylor had that Dorito side of the field locked off. But, you know, it's still early in this game. You know, Thomas Taylor trying to make moves. You can't fault him for that, trying to make something happen.
And at that point, 3-on-2, he was hoping maybe if I can get him, stay alive. But and when you're both in the snake, that's a really tough spot to fight out from if you're down bodies. See in the pits right now for Houston Heat. This game brought to you by Pro Edge Paintball. Best stores in Houston also. Check out their website. You can buy stuff online for them. Help us support the companies that support this sport. So any logo that you see up here helping support PBA, those are the companies that truly care about the game. So let's check out this replay. Let's go to the ref update, talk about that penalty.
We have a minor penalty on number 14 for Houston Heat, playing on unobvious hit.
So that's Greg Sewers from Houston Heat. But that penalty comes off.
That's not that's very uncharacteristic of Greg. He doesn't get many penalties, and he's a pretty solid player across the board. So
yeah, that's very true. Let's check out this replay here. So you look at that. That's that move by Thomas Taylor, trying to come in, and then you see as he went out wide and then tried to get the shot and then come in. You see as he's moving his way back to the snake, but not able to do it. So nice job by O'Mara and the rest of the crew from Baltimore Revo getting it done. There's Greg Sewers, the culprit from that last penalty.
The culprit.
What a criminal.
So now it looks like Ryan Moorhead out there to get a spin, taking Thomas Taylor's place in the snake. He's going to be backed up by Tim Montresor. Chad George gets another spin. And Ronnie Dizon, who definitely played pretty well in some points in the prelims, is going to be on that D side with Sam Monville. And John Hartman, Stephen O'Mara, Patrick Fong, and Sean Rill out for Baltimore Revo. As well as Lloyd. So here we go on the breakout. Looks like 5 bodies alive for both teams here. 17:09 to go. Crossfield spread for Baltimore Revo on your screen. And then it looks like a body drops early here for Houston Heat as Chad George dying out of his bunker. And now Ryan Moorhead's going to start getting in the snake, and Stephen O'Mara gets in the snake as well too. There, right-hand side of your screen. Now it's dead center, and Stephen O'Mara, he just caught one. First head check, gets his eye dotted. Cross field.
But Ryan Moore had taken one in the leg down the wire. That's going to clear out the snake for both teams. They both have that corner still. You can see on the far side of your field, here's Baltimore Revo trying to shut down the Dorito side of the field, Todd. Now getting in the snake is Baltimore Revo.
Patrick Fong now comes into the back of snake one. He starts shooting at Monville across the field. But Dizon gets up and he moves up into Dorito 1 for Houston Heat. 3 bodies left alive for Heat. Dizon and Monville over on the Dorito side. Just Montresor now left alive for Heat on the snake side. Grill, Hartman, and Smith still alive for Revo.
You see Revo trying to take up a little more ground on the snake side of the field. That's number 14, Jonathan Hartman, trying to help out Patrick Fong. You see Tim Montresor holding it down the snake side of the field, communicating across the field, Todd.
Yeah,
one of the best communicators in the game.
Yeah, really loud, clear voice. Always on top of it. Always takes care of his responsibility to make sure his teammates know what's going on the field. There you see that back shot of Fong and Hartman over here on the snake side for Revo.
So it's tied up right now, Chris. 15 minutes and 17 seconds to go. Relegation match. Again, what's at stake is these two teams' place in the Champions Division. 3rd time that Heat has had to play a relegation match this season.
Dizon making the bump up to Dorito 2. Fong trying to pick him up across the field.
You know, I'm just saying now, he's going to make that bump to that 50. They've slowed the game down quite a bit, though.
Yeah, nobody's really been able to stop Ronnie Dizon from getting where he wants to be on that Dorito side of the field. Although Heat, did lose 3 games in the prelims, Ronnie Dizon was getting up that side pretty well. Let's see if he can get something out of it. One thing you notice from Revo is that, when things got tight, they could definitely dig in, try and win gunfights. They're up a body right now, but they are looking directly into the sun. Makes it a little bit more difficult. As you can see the shadows on the bunkers right now. That's Hartman. Hartman bumped out of that snake side wedge back to the snake side Big Dorito. And now he's focused over there on that Big Dorito right underneath the clock. That's the 50 Dorito with Ronnie Dizon occupying it currently.
You can see this point is slowed down because of what's at stake right now. The players left alive on the field, really not wanting to make any mistakes out here and be the one to blow it for their team. Probably going to see that today. This field's played relatively fast. We didn't see a lot of the games go to time. Most games go into the race to the actual 7 mark. But we could see a lot more intense matchups today. So you can see right now on your screen, Baltimore Revo trying to contain Ronnie Dizon. You see he's worried about him, so he's head checking out, and there's Dizon. That is the thorn in the side right now for Baltimore Revo. And you can see Revo with 4 players alive. Underneath their names, there's the kill count. 4 players alive for Revo, 3 for Houston Heat. But that man on your screen, he is really putting a little bit of that worry on Baltimore Revo. They haven't really moved up. Fong makes a move in the snake, though, a little bit farther up to notch 2. No one in the snake right now for Houston Heat. They do have Montresor in that back corner bunker.
Well, look, I was going to say, now watch for Fong to move up and try to get his, he's going to bump up one more time and try and get a shot across the field on Ronnie Dizon on that 50 side Dorito. A pretty stalemate game right now. Henry Fong definitely has the ball. Well, Patrick Fong.
Yeah, so Fong in the snake right now for Revo. He's the farthest player up. He's the attacker. Dizon, he's at the 50 on the opposite side right now there on your screen for Houston Heat. So even though one body down right now in this 3-on-4 matchup between Houston Heat and Baltimore Revo, because Dizon's so far up, everyone on Revo has to worry about him. He can shoot people from there. So,
well, and I see if he moves up to that next knuckle, Tim Montresor will come get him.
And that would, and Chris, it's actually interesting you brought that up, because the farther that Fong gets up, the closer he gets to Tim Montresor. And because Dizon is so far up and he's in that 50 on the D side, all the other players for Revo are focused on him. You notice that, I mean, now finally they do switch a gun, but that center bunker right there on your screen, that guy it's John Hartman. He's just looking over to Dizon. That's all he's been doing, is just watching that 50, making sure that he doesn't move up. But that means that his gun is not watching over Fong. So Fong's kind of he's by himself over here.
Yeah, that's why I think Tim Montressor will come get him as soon as he moves up to that next knuckle.
Yeah, you can see the snake right there in the back bunker over there on the opposite side of the field. Now Fong moves up one bunker. So Fong is now past the 50-yard line, which means that Dizon might have a shot on him.
Fong just got shot in the head from Dizon.
I don't even think he even knew he was at the 50, because he just put his head up there like he was.
Well, look at Hartman. A smart move for Hartman to get all the way out near Tim Montressor in his bunker.
Yeah, he's lucky to get out there too, because from that 50 Dorito, Ronnie Dizon has a direct lane straight into that snake side corner.
So there's Dizon on your screen. Now Tim Montressor makes his move in the snake. Incredibly long point here. It's all tied up in one.
Nice shot across the field, Todd.
Yeah, Tim Montressor gets that shot on 77, Stacy Smith. Beautiful shot by Tim Montressor. Tim Montressor stepping up right now for Houston Heat. Houston Heat was down a body, and now they're up one.
There was a guy over there. I didn't even know there was another player over there alive. That's Sean Rill, number 33 for Baltimore Revo. He's really close to there. I was just gonna say.
So it looks like Do over there on the 50 at the D side. Both players come off, so Dizon dies, and it looks like it's a one-on-one right now between Tim Montressor and John Hartman. Wait, I think Sam Monville might still be alive. Yeah, he is. So Sam Monville's been chilling out in that back corner bunker on the D side, helping out Dizon. So now it's a 2-on-1 in favor of Houston Heat. So what a turn of events here for Houston Heat, showing the veteran status that they have and the composure, and able to slowly but surely potentially win this one.
Oh, Tim Montressor take one.
Wow, so Tim Montressor walks off, dies out of his spot, and now it's a one-on-one between John Hartman and Sam Monville. So can Hartman step up here and shoot out Sam Monville? We've seen Sam Monville in this position many, many, many times. This is our first time watching John Hartman be in this big of a game here, fighting for his team's life in the Champions Division. John Hartman just made an awesome shot to even up the body count here. Wow.
But now we're in a situation where you got to start seeing flaps on packs. That means you're running out of paint. This has been one of the longer points. I think this is the longest point we've had. But you can see on his pack, he has almost no paint, so that's going to come play a factor here pretty soon as well.
Yeah, good point, Chris. Todd, do you see any pods on his back? I don't see any pods on his back. He might have one.
He might have just pulled his last one.
Yeah. So very tense moments, one-to-one right now.
Yeah, Hartman loads his last pod right now, so we don't know how much paint Monville has. Monville's been protecting Dizon over there and shooting at a decent amount of body, so I doubt that Sam Monville has much paint left either. He is in the bunker that Dizon was in, so there might be some balls on the ground that Dizon has dropped, just in case Monville lost maybe, quarter of a pod left. You never know, but if you're going to be low on paint, you want to be in a bunker that was occupied for a while,
yeah.
Especially in the second point of the day. That means there's not going to be a lot of paintballs, just random paintballs all over the place. And anything that was left here overnight, let me tell you, that thing's going to be about the size of a small grapefruit.
Yeah, it's really humid. The ground's really wet. So even if you do drop a pod, I mean, the chances of it being good right now is probably no bueno.
8 minutes and 20 seconds. I think this might be the longest point that we have seen on the Champions field here, all tournament long. It's tied at 1. And so on the left-hand side of your screen, you're looking at Hartman for Baltimore Revo, and there's Sam Monville peeking out of that 50 drill. Okay, look at this. Monville cuts to the inside, and now he closes the gap. John Hartman, I don't think John Hartman knows, and you can play those shadows though. When you're in a spot like this and it's in the early morning or late evening, you can look at the shadow and see which side. If the shadow grows longer, then it means he's coming out on the right-hand side. If it goes smaller, he's going to come out on the left-hand side.
Very tense moments. So much at stake with this game. Hey, Revo's playing good, though, man.
Yeah, man. Well, Revo was up bodies, though. But Revo is definitely playing good in this match so far. I mean, they're tied up with Houston Heat, but what a great job. So it's definitely on Hartman. What an amazing shot that he had on Tim Montressor, because Revo did squander a 4-on-3.
Yeah.
But Hartman stepped up to make it a 1-on-1, because this was a 2-on-1 a couple seconds ago.
There you go. That's Hartman on your screen, trying to see the top right-hand side of your screen. Sam Monville at that can, looking for a shot.
Yeah, so you can see no pain, so not really engaging. Oh, dodged one right there. Changes angles, goes left-handed now. Monville is closer to the flag, though. The objective is grab the flag, hang it on your opponent's flag station. So Monville might want to maybe try to get a ooh. So now Monville's just going to close the gap. Forgets about the flag, and then they start going around. They might have traded.
No, I think he got Sam Monville.
Oh, my God. So Sean Hartman steps up to win a 2-on-1 against Tim Montresor and Sam Monville. So you want to start making a name for yourself? That's exactly what you need to do. So John Hartman, 2 confirmed kills for him in this point, and they were the biggest kills of the game so far.
Yeah, well, he played probably 1, 2, 3, 4, like 4 to 5 different spots at one point.
Well, yeah, and Hartman made a good move to get out as soon as he saw Fong die. So Hartman all around just played outstanding, and then you know, what composure from a young player like that. So we're going to be right back here with more of this Baltimore Revo Houston Heat matchup. Revo up by 1. Stick with us.
They say paintball is 90% mental. The mental aspect of our sport goes far beyond game plans and visualization. Now more than ever, Empire provides an unmatched support system for you both on and off the field. Having this level of support allows you to focus on the things that you need to go out there and get the job done. The Empire All-In Sponsorship Program. Thousands of players, hundreds of teams, one family, one support system.
Houston Heat's champion division spot is at risk right now because Baltimore Revo is leading by 1 point. 2-1 is the score, and only 6 minutes and 28 seconds are left here in this matchup on the breakout. Houston Heat on your right, Baltimore Revo on your left. And Houston Heat gets out 5 bodies alive, and they get Thomas Taylor and the Snake on the secondary move, now attacking on the D side as well.
And here comes Baltimore Revo getting in the Snake. That's O'Mara going to work. Heads up paintball against Thomas Taylor. But look at all the people from Houston Heat just pounding this side of the field, Todd.
Yeah, Houston Heat getting Thomas Taylor, Chad George, and Woodley out to this side alive. Revo, 3 bodies to this side as well. Their back center guy was looking over towards the Dorito side early. 2 bodies in the Snake right now for Houston Heat as Chad George gets in behind Thomas Taylor.
Yeah, so Thomas Taylor and Chad George in good field position here. They have a back player. Woodley's right behind him, so better field position. More bodies over here. Snake side right now for Houston Heat.
Eye in the sky looking down. There's 2 players. Houston Heat on your right, and that's O'Mara on your left coming down the Snake, contesting Thomas Taylor and Chad George. Going to be hard to do, though, man. I mean, I'm looking for Chad George to shoot down the wire, well, and here Thomas Taylor's going to come take out O'Mara.
Guys, another issue here is that Greg Sewers got shot by Sean Rill, and that's a problem because now they're down by 1. 5 bodies still alive for Baltimore Revo, which means that Houston Heat is 1 body down, and they have to attack. They have to push forward. It's up to them because if the time expires, obviously Baltimore Revo will take this victory and maintain their spot in the Champions Division.
Yeah, after that long one-on-one, you know, or that whole long point, under 5 minutes to go now. So Houston Heat gonna have to get back in this game. Nobody picks up O'Mara coming down the field.
Oh, he missed. Oh, he did get Chad George.
Got both of
them.
He
did get both of them.
No. He missed Thomas Taylor, but he did shoot out Chad George. That was his first shot. So Thomas Taylor now in the Snake, but good job by O'Mara to clean out one of the most potent players on Houston.
Oh, Thomas Taylor taking one across the field, Matty, sorry.
Yeah, so Thomas Taylor catches one, and that is going to open things up over here on the Snake side. And they are going to concede the point. So Baltimore Revo is going to go up by 2 right now against Houston Heat with 4 minutes and about 20 seconds left to play. And there's John Hartman again, you know, alive and on that win. So nice work, man. Baltimore Revo really starting to prove themselves in this division here in this game. This is a big game against a really huge team. Houston Heat, they lost their first relegation game at the first turn of the year against Tampa Bay Damage, but they took down San Diego Dynasty in a close game at the West Coast Open to stay in the Champs Division. Let's listen in here real quick to Houston Heat's pit before we head to a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back. Looking in the pits right now for Houston Heat, they're down by 2, and you can see that distraught kind of, oh my God, we are down by 2 in a relegation game with 4 minutes left. Come on, boys, get it going. That's probably what's going on in Keith DeWitt's mind right there. So off the breakout, both these teams 5 strong. Hasn't been too many penalties. There was a minor earlier. Nothing major though. Oh, but it looks like O'Mara gets shot here early. So this is going to open things up potentially for Houston Heat. They have 5 bodies alive. O'Mara, the attacker for Baltimore Revo on the snake side, is dead. So now 4 bodies alive and in those back bunkers.
Oh, but getting shot, trying to fill out. That's John Hartman.
So Revo loses 2 bodies off the snake side. They still have the snake side temple in the snake side corner, but Moorhead into the 50 snake. Woodley up in that A, locking off that Dorito side. And the Revo player here in the corner shooting across the field towards the Dorito side. That should allow Moorhead to come all the way down. He is able to get in another knuckle before Patrick Fong gets back on the wire. But now Moorhead is going to have a clear shot across the field. He's going to put a lot of pressure on the 2 Dorito players, Sean Rill and Stacy Smith for Revo. And here comes Chad George. He comes to the back of Snake 1. He is also going to keep that pressure across the field. Needs to make sure to protect Moorhead. Woodley's now protecting Moorhead, shooting at Fong in that snake side corner. Houston Heat still has bodies over there on the Dorito side. And here he comes. Fong is going to trade out with Moorhead, but that allows Chad George to come all the way down to the end of the snake with just 2 bodies left alive for Revo.
Todd, that was a good move by Fong, though, because Moorhead was about to start getting that kill across field. Look at Woodley, though. Woodley is just going head hunting there and drops 2 bodies. Nice, amazing run through right there by John Woodley to try to quickly as possible put a point on the board right now for Houston Heat and pull within 1 with 2 minutes and 29 seconds to go. So Houston Heat still needs to score 1 more point here. Again, no penalties. So that was a great point. Brian Moore played good on that point. Chad George played good on that point, and Woodley finished it off. But I was saying that, so you saw Ryan Moorhead get into that spot, Todd, and he was raising his gun up. He had backs, and he was going to try to get those kills, but Fong made that move, but it still wasn't enough.
Yeah, still only 2 minutes and 29 seconds left in this game. Still down by 1 point against Baltimore Revo. 3-2. I haven't seen the point go back up on the board yet, but I'm sure it will.
So Woodley, George, and Monville left alive. So, yeah, I hope you guys were able to get your fantasy rosters in before the start of the tournament, playing for a DM15. It's a pretty good prize to win, just to play some fun fantasy paintball for free.
Yeah, right? Those guns are pretty gnarly, too.
Yeah, brand new gun from Dye. So, and World Cup's been a great tournament so far, and we have a bunch of crazy. There's Ryan Greenspan for San Diego Dynasty. So San Diego Dynasty is going to make their appearance out here in the Challengers Division semifinal matchups. There was that move by Fong, And here comes that quick fill right there, backing up Moorhead and Chad George. And then here comes that move. Woodley looking for the variables, looking for the bodies, realizes where they are and which way they're shooting, and comes right through and takes them both out. So nice work by John Woodley. 20 seconds to go before the start of this next point. There's Jason Trojan, the coach for Houston Heat.
I like seeing John Woodley at the middle.
Woodley, Chris, is really emerging as an awesome player.
Yep. I've always liked that kid.
He was always talented,
Yeah.
but he didn't get a ton of spins early on with Heat, but slowly but surely emerging as a real top-flight professional paintball player. Off the break here. Looks like 5 bodies alive for Revo, at least initially. And Houston Heat on the attack on the D side, and now on the Snake. Moorhead into the Snake. They're also into D1. So still 5 bodies alive for both teams. Houston Heat taking ground. Oh, they lose Greg Sewers on the D side, boys.
He's having a rough day. Unfortunately, Greg, one of their power play players over there on the Dorito side, but coming up behind the Snake, John Woodley backing up Ryan Moorhead.
Yeah, that's going to hurt them because now they're down a body. They have no attack on the D side, so it is going to be up to Ryan Moorhead and John Woodley over here on the Snake side. And Ryan Moorhead is going to move up and a major penalty on John Woodley, and that might seal the deal here as Ryan Moorhead takes out Stephen O'Mara, but then he gets taken out. He turns around and realizes the situation that's going down.
That's bad news,
and
man.
starts shaking his head immediately. So Heat is going to concede the point with just San Monville left alive. Barely got any of that penalty off. So with 1 minute and 58 seconds, it is going to be up to whoever the 4 players are for Houston Heat that come out for this next point to play against Baltimore Revo, fighting for their lives in the Champions Division right now. But they will be down a body for the rest of this match. Wow. So it's looking good right now for Baltimore Revo to preserve their spot in the Champions Division, impressing a lot of people right now. We're going to be right back. Stick with us.
It's the weekend before the final event of the year, and we have 60 cases of paint. Last year at this time, we only had 20, and we didn't even make the cut for finals. But this year, with the money we raised through paintballproshop.us, that's not a problem. Now we have money for practice and events. It's free. paintballproshop.us.
Hey guys, I am in Revo's pit right now with Henry Sense. You guys are leading 2 points against Heat, 4-2, to stay in this champions bracket. Now, you only have about 1.5 minutes left on the clock. They will be starting with 4 moving forward. Are you going to try to just burn out that clock, or are you going to run some fast points and try to get some more points?
We're really going to focus on trying to get into corners, crossing it up, watching for their guy coming through the center, and just playing our style of slow control paintball and just wait them out, make them come to us. So like you said, they're starting with 4, so we have a body advantage right now, so it's going to help out.
All right, we'll see if they can keep that advantage. Here we go.
So here it comes down to this right now. Can Houston Heat, oh God, Houston Heat is losing bodies. It's not looking good for their champion spot here. They lose 2 on the Snake side, and this might be the nail in the coffin for Houston Heat. They only have Chad Boucher and Ronnie Dizon left alive. So this could be the last point of their season. Maybe, I think they might get one more, because I think Revo's going to score this one here. Yeah, as Dizon comes off, trying to push forward into 50 on the D side, and Chad Boucher, last player left alive. And Baltimore Revo should be very happy with how things are turning out right now for them, as they have put up 5 points against Houston Heat in this relegation game, pretty much assuring that they are going to send Houston Heat down into the Challengers Division to start out 2015. So not exactly what Heat was picturing when they began this tournament here. They wanted to come in and have a redemptive moment, and challenge for the actual World Cup title. Instead, Sunday morning they wake up to find themselves in a bad spot, having to play a relegation game. They've been there before, and now closing moments in this match. That's it, man. There's no way that Houston Heat is going to be able to come back with under a minute to score 3 points. But what I'm interested to see, even though it looks like the curtain is going to close on Houston Heat's Champions Division hopes here for 2014 and the first event of 2015, is what sort of breakout. How are they going to go out? Revo should be stoked, though. We're going to be right back. Stick with us. There's John Hartman. John Hartman is one of the heroes. I was just saying, John Hartman's definitely the hero of this game, or one of them, because of that huge momentum-shifting one-on-one, two-on-one that he won. He won a two-on-one. And then I was going to say that bearded wonder Mike Baker, he was the hero from the last event that got them into the Champions Division in his last second run-through. So now he's going to have to stop some last-second run-throughs from Houston Heat. Houston Heat going all the way to the 50-yard line, D-side, and to the snake, pushing as aggressively as they possibly can. Look at this, still alive is Ryan Moorhead. He's going to get run down. On the snake side, the push continues until there are no bodies left alive.
Major penalty on Revo.
Oh, it's going to be a major penalty on Revo, but still with under 40 seconds to play, it's going to even things up as far as the penalties are concerned.
That's the last body. The time should end right there. They shouldn't have to go hang the flag on a major. When the last body gets pulled, there should still be about 35 seconds left on the clock.
Which is a huge deal right now, because now they're down by 2. And with 35, I mean, 15-second points, I don't know about that. But
if there's, oh, no, I'm sorry. If there's one guy left to pull, if there's nobody left to pull, the clock ends.
Then that's
my bad.
So, hey, man, Houston Heat refused to go quietly. Sam Monville was able to stay alive in all that chaos. Nice job by Ryan Moorhead to get down here on the snake side, and also Dizon to get to the 50 on the D. Moorhead on the snake side, Dizon on the D side, and Monville alive after all the chaos. So we're going to have a 2-point game here. The score will go to 5-3. But
I don't know, man. It's
too little, too late.
I mean, they might get one more point, but I just can't see them. And they put more time back on the clock. It's looking like
maybe there was only one. Maybe there wasn't anyone left to pull. Todd.
I mean, if that guy, there was the guy that was in the snake corner.
I don't know. Bobby's let's find out from CJ Traub.
We had a major penalty on number 7 for Revo, playing on obvious hit. As this penalty pulled the last body that was alive for them, we were going to put 20 seconds back up on the game clock, as the time should have expired. The penalty should have been awarded to Houston Heat immediately.
All right, I'm back from lunch.
Okay. So big change of events now. That 46 seconds.
This thing's a little bit more interesting here.
So it wasn't the guy in the corner got a penalty. The guy that was in the snake corner got the penalty, not Henry Sense, who was that guy that was in the snake, because that was number 5.
Yeah, it's Chris Lloyd.
So
Chris Lloyd got the penalty.
Yeah, so they're going to throw some time back on the clock. Clock's going to sit at 46 seconds.
Well, now
it's still a 2-point game, but we did see an 18-second point yesterday.
Yeah, so so now that does make it a little more interesting, because with 28 seconds left, that makes it a little bit less possible. But so now the Heat's got a shot. It's going to be incredibly difficult, but it is statistically possible. We're going to be right back. Stay tuned. So Chris Lloyd will be in the box for Baltimore Revo. John Woodley still in the penalty box for Houston Heat, both for the remainder of this match. Even if it does somehow, some way end up that Houston Heat ties it up, those penalties carry over. So right now, on the field. Houston Heat, 20 seconds to go. Dizon, Moorhead, Chad George, and Sam Monville. That's a fast crew for Houston Heat to try to put another quick one on the board and come a little bit closer here. They have to score 2 points in 46 seconds. That is a really tall order.
Yeah, winding down now. Just 3 seconds before we start this game.
And look at this, off the break on the right-hand side. Here comes Houston Heat pushing up. Able to make it to the 50. They can't really stop. They're going to have to roll the dice. They have no choice. No bodies dropping yet. Here comes San Monville, who's just going to try to run through. He ends up getting taken out, but he does get a body. Still 3 players left alive. 25 seconds left, but bodies are dropping for Heat. 2 players left alive for them. But Monville gets his loader peeled out.
Oh, no, he didn't.
Yeah, he did.
That's going to be a major penalty. Oh, he was coming for him.
Yeah, so Monville avoiding a penalty right there. And this is going to do it. So Houston Heat went into the breach with bravery, but unfortunately for them, they did not have enough skills today to take down the young, scrappy upstarts, Baltimore Revo. So Baltimore Revo hugging each other, and they should be very proud of their performance here at the World Cup because of this victory. Yeah, they didn't win any games in the prelims, but they impressed a lot of people with their ability to maintain a positive attitude and understand, hey, man, the future's bright for us. We need to come out here, display our best skills that we've developed to this point, get as much experience as we possibly can, and then they were forced to play Heat right here in a relegation game for their Champions Division lives, and they are able to win this match with a final score of 5-3. So the underdogs are able to defeat Houston Heat, and Houston Heat, that's a bad end to their season.
Wow. Well, hey, hats off to Baltimore Revo.
Wow. Baltimore Revo, man. Crazy debut out here. 0-4, but, you know, they fought really hard, like we were saying before this game. You know, then end up being able to maintain their position. They're going to be an interesting team to watch next year because now, you know, unlike VCK, who came up and went right back down after their cup of coffee, you know, Revo comes up here, gets a taste, able to maintain their position. Now they're going to have
the whole offseason.
The whole offseason to know what it takes to be competitive at this level, you know, and prepare for that even more. You know, this is already one of the most hardworking teams in the league, you know, as far as the amount of people, the practice facility that they have to go out there and, you know, to constantly do drills, play tons of games. And, you know, it definitely showed that these guys came in and they wanted to fight here. So, you know, Revo can definitely be happy, you know, with the performance that they put in today, beating a top-tier team like Houston Heat, able to maintain their spot in the Champions Division for the first event of the PSP next year.
Yeah, and it's been a while since we've had a team from that area of the world be a successful pro team. So it's great to see guys from that little section, little corner, step up and stay in the top level division. So let's check in with Lauren Kelly.
Guys, I am here with John Hartman from Revo. Congratulations, that was such a big win for you guys. You aren't going anywhere, which is super exciting. Now, I want to talk to you a little bit about that one-on-one against Sam Monville. That went on for so long. There were like huge just gaps of pauses where nobody was moving. What was running through your mind and what kind of strategy did you know you had to execute?
Well, we played them a couple times in practice. I knew we could win it. I just kind of sat there, I waited for him to get close, and as soon as he made the mistake and tried to move closer to me, I took around the corner and shot him as he was going.
That was such an important point to get, so congratulations. Going down into that final minute, they were down a body, and you had the advantage, but were you guys nervous at all in the pit that they were going to be able to bring it back here?
I mean, we just crossed up and shot them as they came. I mean, we knew they were going to come, we had our guns, and we knew we could beat them 5-on-5, so took them at them.
You proved a lot this weekend. You got points on the board, and you were definitely fighting during those matches that you had. You weren't able to win any of them until today. When you guys were going over the webcast, what struggles did you see yourselves having on this layout?
Penalties. We feel like every match except for the damage match, we were in it. We just got penalties at the end, and it lost us for us.
Well,
out of the box.
All right, well, you did this time enough to get that win, so congratulations. Revo is staying in the champions bracket. That was a huge loss for Heat. We'll have the next match coming up, so stay tuned.
Yeah. Are you able to get that internal mic working?
Wow, what a crazy underdog victory there. And, you know, the first game already has has already been crazy here as the favorites in that game. Houston Heat drop it. So is that what we're going to see all day today? We'll find out. There's the schedule on your screen. Coming up next, Upton 187 crew taking on Moscow Red Legion in another Champions Division relegation match. And after that, it's going to be the Challengers Division semifinals to find out who's going to be moving back up into the Champions Division. And Dynasty plays Aftershock and Thunder plays Infamous. It's going to be a crazy morning. Stick with us.